This is number 5. They are two timers. Fraudsters pretend to be something that they're not, but they definitely pursue multiple victims at the same time. Donald Trump, how is this similar? In my mind, the similarity is that Donald Trump is definitely not a guy who is loyal, because what we're talking about is loyalty. And Donald Trump, his loyalty only goes one way. This is not a man who is going to, when he thinks that you have outused your usefulness to him, he's a guy who is going to throw you under the bus. And one of the funniest things in the world was going to Google and putting in Trump under the bus. And the list of videos of Trump throwing people under the bus is hilarious. But this is from the Lincoln Project. They have, in their infinite wisdom, created an entire list of times that Donald Trump has disavowed people and thrown them under the bus. Remember, these were the best people.
2016, you said that. I'm going to surround myself with only the best and most serious people.
I have the best people. I have the best people.
Your Vice President, Mike Pence, is running against you. Your Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, she's running against you. Your former Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, said he's not supporting you. You mentioned National Security Advisor John Bolton. He's not supporting you either. You mentioned Attorney General Bill Barr, says you shouldn't be president again. Calls you a consummate narcissist and troubled man. You recently called Barr a gutless pig. Your second Defense Secretary is not supporting you. Called you irresponsible. Called your White House Chief of Staff, John Kelly, weak and ineffective and born with a very small brain. You called your acting White House Chief of Staff, Mick Mulvaney, a born loser. You called your first Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, dumb as a rock. And your first Defense Secretary, James Mattis, the world's most overrated general. You called your White House Press Secretary, Kayleigh Canadian, milquetoast. And multiple times you've referred to your Transportation Secretary, Elaine Chao, as Mitch McConnell's China-loving wife. So, why did you hire all of them in the first place?
Because I hired 10 to 1 that were fantastic.
Absolutely hilarious. Absolutely. And by the way, can I just say that this is one of the reasons why these other clowns who are trying to be pretenders to the throne are nowhere near as good as Trump. I mean, you know, who could come up with such slanderous language about their former, the people that they used to have under their employ? But be that as it may, that is the situation with that. So, you know, again, this is a situation where loyalty with Trump goes only one way, and you have to be prepared for that situation with Trump. Let me take a look at, I think I have a video here. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can bring that in.
Donald Trump has boasted that he has one of the greatest memories of all time.
I have a good memory, like a great memory.
I have a great memory.
I'm blessed with
This one is hilarious. I want to show it to you. This is another one where Donald Trump, as soon as the person is no longer useful to them, he completely disavows them, has no idea who they are. Listen to this one.
One of the great memories of all time.
But that memory doesn't always include who he's met. The president often says he's never met someone, doesn't know them, or has never even heard of them, even when he clearly has. Sometimes it's someone he should really remember, like a rapper who is a contestant on his TV show.
The rapper Little John has said you called him Uncle Tom. What's your response?
I don't know who Little John is.
He was on The Apprentice.
I don't know. Oh, he was? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Other times, Trump says he's never met someone to distance himself. That happened when he was denying reports that former Democratic Senator Jim Webb was up for a position in his cabinet. It also happened when he was criticized by conservative commentator Ann Coulter.
Ann Coulter. I don't know her. I hardly know her. I haven't spoken to her in way over a year.
And it happened when a former campaign aide was charged with lying to the FBI. It also happened when he denied accusations of sexual misconduct. And Trump has used the claim on behalf of others, as when he inaccurately claimed that an accuser of Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh had recanted.
One of his accusers came out on Friday and said
She never met him. He didn't do the horrible thing that she said. She never met him.
But Trump will also say he doesn't know someone when he clearly does. That happened when he was criticizing White House advisor Kellyanne Conway's husband. In fact, Trump had once written Conway, praising him for his skills as a lawyer. He sometimes uses the claim that he's never met someone as a way to criticize them for being out of touch or unimportant. That happened when he was campaigning for the opponent of Democratic Senator Bob Casey.
I'm not sure I ever met Bob Casey. I'd never met him.
They had, in fact, met. At other times, Trump might say he doesn't know someone to indicate that their relationship is frayed, as with Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker.
Well, Matt Whitaker, I don't know Matt Whitaker. Matt Whitaker, who again, I didn't know.
For Trump, whether he claims he knows you or even remembers you is something of a tell for what he thinks of you. And that can change, as it did over the course of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian interference.
I know nothing about WikiLeaks. It's not my thing.
WikiLeaks, I love WikiLeaks.
I have no relationship with Putin. But if you have no relationship with Putin, then why did you say in 2013, I do have a relationship?
Do you have a relationship with Vladimir Putin?
I do have a relationship.
In 2014, I
Because
spoke...
he has said nice things about me over the years. I don't think I've ever met him. I never met him. I don't think I've ever...
You would know it if you did,
I
wouldn't
think
you?
so. Yeah, I think so.
Hilarious. I mean, who else could get away with that kind of lying? Just on a regular basis, just constantly lying. And the electorate doesn't seem to care. Again, it is because they are completely convinced in the scam that he's pulling. And that brings us to the sixth and final for this video. And that is that the scammer is always promising to visit in person but can never make it. And the significance of that is that they are somebody who is lying, but they're teasing. They're putting out there the possibility of meeting. They're putting out there the possibility that this thing is real. That connects with Donald Trump because he's never able to really deliver on his promises. He puts it out there like there is really a wall and he is going to build the wall. And most importantly, that the opposition, Mexico, will pay for it. And that was a very specific thing that he was going for. Mexico will pay for the wall. And it was very interesting because this was, in my view, an attempt at Donald Trump to sort of demasculate the Mexican and the Mexican president, Mexican people. And this is a bravado. This is a tough guy move. This is something that I think that anybody else would have, and I know the president at the time absolutely was incensed about the whole idea that Mexico would pay for the wall. But this is more of this kind of his delivery on something that is really not possible. He knows it's not possible, but he wants to continue the kind of flirtatious nature, the kind of feeling that people might believe in him, just like that Nigerian scammer is keeping the hooks into their victim to think that this thing might happen, that they might actually meet up and come together. So this is Donald Trump doing a similar thing with the wall.
I would say Mexico's going to pay for it. Obviously, I never said this and I never meant they're going to write out a check. I will build a great, great wall, and I will have Mexico pay for that wall. Mark my words. A lot of politicians have said, oh, they're not going to pay. They never read the art of the deal.
We lose. We have a trade imbalance with
Mr.
Mexico.
Trump, hold on a second.
John, of $50 billion.
We're at
I said, you're not going to do it. And everybody told me, everybody, this is like the wall. Believe me, we're going to build a wall. Mexico's going to pay for it.
They don't get it because I'm a business guy. That's what I do.
It's going to be built. It's going to be paid for by Canada, by the way. It's going to be paid for. Maybe I'll get Canada paid. Going to be paid for by Mexico.
The politicians are sharper and shrewder than our politicians. You know, I went to an Ivy League school. I was a good student. Mexico, in some form, and there are many different forms, will reimburse us, whether it's a tax or whether it's a payment. Probably less likely that it's a payment.
There will be a payment. It will be in a form, perhaps a complicated form.
We're working on a tax reform bill that will reduce our trade deficits, increase American exports, and will generate revenue from Mexico that will pay for the wall if we decide to go that route. We're thinking about building the wall as a solar wall, so it creates energy and pays for itself. What we save on that just with Mexico will pay for the wall many times over. I view that as absolutely Mexico is paying for the wall. And when I said Mexico will pay for the wall in front of thousands and thousands of people, obviously they're not going to write a check.
They're not going to write us a check, but
They'll pay. They'll pay in one form or another. They may even write us a check.
Now, I don't know if people totally remember it, but this was actually pretty hilarious how this whole thing went down because, you know, people may totally forget this, but the whole situation with Mexico and not paying for the wall is that Donald Trump called the president of Mexico and said, listen, you don't have to actually pay the wall, but you have to say that you'll pay the wall. Just go out there and say that you'll pay for the wall and we'll be fine. You don't actually have to give me the money. You don't even have to actually do it, but just say you're going to do it, right? It's all optics with Donald Trump. It's all the scam. It's all the grift. And it is all the same story. And that is that Donald Trump, like a Nigerian scammer, never has any intention of doing what they say they're going to do. They never have any intention of delivering and being that person that they say that they're going to be. And the person that they've got their hooks into is a total believer, is a total fan. And they are so desirous of Donald Trump being what he says he is, and being and being able to deliver on what he says he's going to deliver on, though he has absolutely no intention of doing it. And it's sad and it's depressing, but the fact of the matter is that the American people are primed for this stuff. It's not something. He is certainly not the first person to go through this, and not the first person to do it. P.T. Barnum famously used to say, "There is a sucker born every minute," and unfortunately, that is true. There is a sucker born every minute, and unfortunately, the con is on the American people, and the American people was fooled into supporting this man as president, and we're paying for it. So that's it for today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting, and I really am not trying to do this to sort of slam Nigeria or slam people who are victims of this kind of scam. They are victims, and it is something that I had hoped in retrospect, probably we needed to pay more attention to, that the American people were vulnerable to this kind of a scam, given that these Nigerian scammers have been around for such a long time and have been able to successfully get money from the American people who believe in these scams, unfortunately, and who are suffering really with the need and the desire to want more for themselves and for this country. So, with that, I will bid you adieu for this video. And on the next video, the final 3 things that are, or actually 4 things that are similar between Donald Trump and a love scammer. And hopefully we'll come to an idea once we have figured out what the problem is, what the solution is. Until next time, thank you so much. Like and subscribe to this channel and like the video if you enjoy what we're doing. The links that you saw below are to support the show. Stream Me is the sister channel to this VTip, is the website, the sister website to this YouTube channel. This is going to become a live streaming series in September. If you're interested and want to communicate out to me, our Mastodon is the best way to do that. Check out our Mastodon page. I don't have the link up, but it's Mastodon Me. That's mastodon.vtip.me. And you can reach out, ask me any questions, and provide links there to anything that you would want me to talk about and any storylines you would want me to deal with on the live stream show. I'm also going to, have on that streamer other topics other than politics and this kind of stuff because it gets depressing after some time. Until the next video, I hope you all are well and stay well during this holiday week, and we'll see you on the next video.